Appropriate. We're getting into the pistol round right now, Pronogo.
Absolutely the case, and we see a quick short boost as well. Stefan on his way over there with that USP Kevlar. A kit and nades on Crystal, Grunk as well. You can see the veterans already breaking out the nades, and here comes the B hit, super quick.
Oh, they're going to hit this instantly. Crimbo just rotating around this B site, given the opportunity to find a couple of frags already. This P250 needs to come to avail. Logic Man, obviously on the AWP, we always see those AWPs pick up P250s in the pistols. Stefan, in the meantime, maneuvering down lower. He's got another USPS. Not usually favored at close range, especially when those Glocks are congregating. They'll play it together through the middle of the map. Sangal still a 3v3.
It's a bit of a slow start here to this pistol round. Topsy-turvy. Not only that, but of course, with the utility that Sangal started to break out, of course, the smoke's still on engine. You expected maybe an A-Rap. Instead, it'll be B as the target. Still these players lurking through tons, but the bomb dropped makes it so difficult. Remember, this site is the worst one to retake in pretty much all of CSGO. That holds true when the bomb is dropped and all you've got are 3 members.
It's so unusual. Panics can hold it down from afar. Long-ranged pistol. He'll take the snipes through. He's got the support of Crystal, both being spotted. Paz has one of his own. That's right over these boxes, as Crystal doesn't want to get overzealous in this situation. Everybody's low, but they need to hit everything. So wild as they climb over the top. Paz with a headshot of his own. Needs another one, finds it.
Anything but convincing, but Sangal will take it, and that is the pistol round win for them to get them started on their weaker T side of Dust 2. Remember that this is the problem side for the Turkish lineup. Alternate attacks, they had the right idea to stay clumped up in that B bomb site. When the Turks didn't find a way around into mid, they were too worried about any aggressive positioning from the CTs. They couldn't make it happen any way other than tunnels, and they still end up cracking off the necessary shots. It's a close round, and it looks like it'll be another one here as the force buy comes in for the CTs. A long.
Team damage, smokes placed. Maneuver into more aggressive positions, relying on the scout of Logic Man. We'll see him on the sniper for the majority of this map. Pronogo panics one of his own inside the upper B tons, scouting for information quite literally here. There's Barrel's position. It's more than he bargained for, but that's traded damage.
Yeah, Logic Man taking that tag right there. It's information that there is at least one scout in play. Look at the stack developing for alternate attacks. They've got 4 members to answer this hit.
And that's been here in place for some time. Smoke down. Crystal has the cover of those barrels even though we can't see them. He's hidden. Primed to be taken down by the nade. They've got complete control, Sangal. This C4 can now go down and just rely on the Galil to take the more aggressive stance. Seymour finding everything on short. This one, it's down to save the snipers.
They have to. And they won't either, at least not both of them. Panic's the last man alive. It's going to get hunted down by Engine over here, it looks like, from CT spawn. MAC-10 reigns true, and that will be a second for Sangal. A clean one as well. Keep that in mind as we get into this. We expected the Germans to post maybe an early round or at least some frags off of this force buy. It was an unconventional one for them to get 2 scouts in the force buy. Normally you see upgraded pistols for 4, and that lesser sniper for only 1. Doesn't pay off, though. Now it'll be a bit of a mid-stack, and we expect this one to fall without pretty much any contest.
Certainly, you want to play this one all together with the pistols. Should be simple. Paz takes the aggressive angle behind Xbox. Jumps on top. Where's the response? Crimbo, he's stuck in the corner. A 6th sense tingling. They seem to know where he's playing from. All 4 players from the defense. Just holding outside of this CT spawn. Just below the elf shelf. They'll move into the middle of the map. It's major to rapid away. That's where Crystal's holding. He's got that sniper in hand as well. And only 1 kill. That's acceptable, I guess. But this sniper shouldn't save, and it doesn't.
Yeah, Crystal walking wounded there super early. He will die in front of that shelf that you mentioned. And this is another round in the board for the Turks. Not the start we wanted to see coming out from the Germans whatsoever, but they will answer back in this gun round. They'll look to. Panics on that AWP. Rest on rifles. Except for Crystal, who, because of that investment onto the scout, only finding 1 frag means he has to downgrade to that MP9. Meanwhile, bonus for Sangal, somehow able to keep all of these rifles alive, just not taking hardly any damage in subsequent rounds. Looking dominant coming into this one.
Certainly the case. 1 minute 30. There goes the Molotovs to force Logic Man out aggressive. He instead plays it with the pistol. Knowing that he's got that scout in hand as well, they'll bombard this B site. Maybe this is why Sangal have picked Dust 2. Remember, this is one of Alternate Attax' best maps. It's fallen apart of the seams in the first 4. With the B site totally taken, there's no way to retake. You need to save, especially that AWP.
We expected Sangal to maybe have some difficulty on the T side. They're showing nothing of it, and Panics gets taken down by a peek from Engine, which means that AWP unlikely to be saved. Stefan and Scrunk have utility to retake with it if they so desire, but Sangal are on the hunt.
They certainly are, but Scrunk to eliminate the first, utilizing the scope of that AUG. How much does Sangal want to invest in this situation? They're coming from all angles, and apparently Paz doesn't need anything other than 16 HP to hit another headshot. The server wiped of all of the Alternate Attax rifles.
That's 2 rounds in a row where the Turks have only lost a single player. That previous round wasn't so big, but that one that we just witnessed, huge to deny every single rifle. You already won the round when they chose to save, but you wiped them completely clean. That will be an excellent round coming out from the Turks. An excellent start. Sangal should be off to 5-0 here. Look at the lack of investment coming out from the Germans. They only have 4 Deagles and just a little bit of utility. It's an A stack developing, but where does Sangal really want to go? They can slow down the pace against this inferior weaponry. Fish for information. It's exactly what they're doing as they claim A long.
Certainly a deficit of firepower, not just in round 5, but the previous 4. Alternate Attax haven't hit their shots. Sleepy in the server at the start. Flashes are going to bait absolutely nobody out of position, knowing that there are 2 players on the A-bomb site, 2 on short. Stefan to lead the charge with the Desert Eagle, one of 4 they have on the server. Here they come. Panics has the angle. Emo should be able to close this one down. A smoke place, that gives them the entrance onto the A-bomb site. Yes, they're walking into a stack, and that's the win condition here. Scrunk has to hit a shot through these smokes. As they wrap around, Emor, he's able to do acceptable damage. Behind the car, the secondary AK-47 misses his marker. They're forced off of the angle, and that's a lovely headshot from Crystal. Falls back into the CT spawn. Sangal go to plan B, that might be site B. Now watch towards the middle of the map. The Fire Serpent cannot strike. And Crystal now has a chance. There's flip side tactics. Stickers on the pistol. He needs to flip this round on its back. And especially with the AWP walking into the A-bomb site, they've got the angle completely locked down. Panic only needs the headshot here. I say only. That's hard to do against a sniper at longer range especially. Remember, those smokes are gone. Harder to go for a cross here.
Uncertainty brewing. It's actually going to be A again. And Crystal has the wrong read.
He absolutely does. There's a Molotov. It's whiffed. They try and get the plant, but he's exposed. Shoulders spotted, and the blades are taken away.
That should have been a clean plant from Sangal, but 2 whiffed nades so quick off the back of that. They basically sealed their own fate there. Germans will take that every day of the week. They're on the board off the back of quite a few mistakes coming out from the Turks. And that's that script we talked about earlier. If those Turkish players, they don't necessarily have those fallback plans the same way that the Germans do. So remember that going into this head-to-head. It will be a B hit developing. Fast tunnels. Crimbo might not be safe here.
Molotov dissipates. There's another smoke, not quite in its place, but on this B-bomb site. Crimbo's got the angle. Support from Crystal. That's through the smokes, totally blind. They try and charge into him. Up close and personal for the headshots to be hit. The AWP seem to be next in line, but they know exactly where he's playing from.
Such a dangerous round to be contending. Basically dry. They throw in so many nades, but none of them find their marker. And so effectively walking into that site, walking into the AK. Crimbo will make them pay for that. Double ops recovered as well for the CT side. So this next round, likely to be a bit of a different look. Alternate Attax still down 2. Early peak favors Crimbo. It's one of the rifles taken away as well. So just 3 AKs remaining. This was a bit of a force coming out from the Turks.
Double AWP setup. First time we've seen it.
Bit of a slow start to this one. Emor somehow finds the trade. Looked messy. Now it's an even-Steven scenario. And Paz with his AWP of his own as well. Where does Sangal want to go with this? That nade should find some purchase. Nade, you're down to 60. Looks like it will be towards B here.
Sangal almost haven't made their mind up yet, right? They've lost that pick towards mid. They rotate back to this T spawn. They certainly haven't put all of their eggs in one basket. With that bomb looking to either short or long.
Look at the nades here as well. Sangal have so many left. Alternate Attacks already expending a large portion of them. Major looking to sell the fake towards B. 3 members are now on short.
Here comes the AWP from Panics. He'll have to watch them on the cross. A smoke for the CT spawn. There's nobody playing in between, but that allows a double-pronged attack, and Panics takes the initial swing with the Asimov. He can now watch short and short alone. Knowing that Stefan's got long completely wrapped up with the red line, it's Panics to hit even more. They get wiped out of the server.
Sangal slowed that down way too much, especially against a double op setup like that. You can't expect the Germans to not take advantage of it. They have this tendency to look for information, and sometimes it hurts them, but there it was all the marbles. Look at that one. Sangal. Now they're threatened for a tie game. Going to be taking a bit of a leisurely pace into this round as well. They buy up, but it's just pistols. 2 Tech 9s, 2 Deagles. Limited utility. Maybe they want to hit B again. Either way, it'll have to be complete chaos if they want to have a hope of extending their lead. Germans look close to tie things up here.
We've got 2 AK-47s and 2 AWPs to rely on this defense, one of which sat on short. That's Panics. Forced away by the potency of those pistols, especially the Desert Eagle that rains out. It sings a scary song. Quick nade towards the middle of the map. It's not going to find any purchase. Quickly falls into the CT spawn in the meantime. Stefan just wants to keep the angle under place. Knowing that the incendiary is down, he can have the freedom to actually take that swing. And off the back of flashbangs, they fall right over the top. And no peek comes off the back of it.
Bit of a boost developing here as well towards Catwalk. Will be run over. Emor given a bit of a setup here. It looks like it's the makings of an A hit, but Sangal still feel like they're taking their time, not because it's deliberate, but because they don't necessarily have the right idea. They're fishing for information. It's a bit of a filler round, not expected to win it. If they can start to build an understanding of the German tendencies, they might be able to get their lead back in their control.
Wow, we talk about this mid-rush so much, and with the AK-47 spraying all 30 bullets through, they can just contain this through the smokes. Crystal's played it perfectly. Nobody getting caught off guard. The communication from the Germans, perfect. That's what we know them for.
Yeah, Major's dead to rights here as well. Panics had the angle. So Stefan and Panics through the smokes, able to crack off just enough shots to drop that take before it can even begin. Sangal now, tie game, but they've saved up enough for a 5-rifle buy. In fact, Logic Man will go for no utility, instead opting for the AWP and the Kevlar. So resting a lot on his shoulders right now, and historically he hasn't shown up as much for this particular roster. Certainly not as much as Panics has by comparison. It's Crimbo with an AWP of his own towards long, and this is a fast hit.
Yeah, they'll play this one exceptionally speedy. Crimbo is stuck behind the car, and alternate attacks do not want to bounce onto long knowing that this has come through. Sangal already taking it, and nobody inside the pit. That's an angle that they don't have to worry about. I can just play this one from afar, relying on the range of the AWP. Apparently, Logic Man disagrees. They've got upper mid controlled with, well, this incendiary as well, forcing them out. A team kill, always worth it, but not ideal.
Yeah, it's a 3-man setup there now. 3-on-3. Skrunk does so well to confirm 2 dead, even if the second one wasn't by his own hands. And now we start to see this German information gathering tactic.
Absolutely. Minute left. Short controlled. Stefan's got it. He's got the AK-47 ready and waiting. With long now the option. They want to challenge Crystal. He's been such a hard member, playing both bomb sites. We previously saw him over towards B. Is no longer the case here in round number 9. Smokes go down. You need 2 to block off the CT spawn. And, well, those Molotovs as well are going to force everybody out of position. The nades don't do too much. C4 should go down. Crystal looks ready for the jump. It's an instant headshot. Sprays through the smokes. This is traded evenly, but the time is running out, and Crystal's got even more. The star with the Desert Eagle, now reliant on Logic Man making a mistake, switches back to the AK-47. There's Molotovs over the top. The incend burns him out, and Panics can find him.
There was no way for Logic Man to find purchase in that particular 1-on-2 attempt. We very rarely see any clutch successes out of this Turkish lineup, but that one was pretty hard to ask for, with alternate attacks having so much control and conserving their utility usage crucially. That's a big deal for this one. We come out with a match tack, and that definitely means that Sangal are talking over their options. Look at their money with less than 4K on all of their players. They can't properly buy into this one, so they're going to talk it over, figure out what they want to do, but it doesn't feel like they've found anything. There's no through line for the Germans here. They keep changing the pace, as you mentioned, with Crystal sometimes breaking out that secondary op, and other times it's Crimbo who seems to be persevering with that into this round, but what can the Turks realistically do?
To be honest, I was very scared for alternate attacks right on the bounce. They lost those 4 initial rounds. It felt like they weren't hitting their shots. They've stepped up on this CT side.
Absolutely the case. With Sangal now looking to find a force buy victory to tie things back up yet again. It looks competitive by the scoreline, but alternate attacks have chained together so many rounds now, and with their utility usage coming to fruition again, it's going to make it from bad to worse for this Turkish squad.
They congregated on short, and the rifles are here to try and hold down the lines. Stefan finds all of the pistols, wrapping them up, and the AWP to finish. There's mid-controlled, now only having to deal with Major on the B bomb site, Tech 9 in hand. And of course, that C4 is a million miles away on short. Don't think he'll be able to get back into this one. Maybe if he finds an angle onto Crimbo. Oh, cheeky dink. There's the follow-up. Maybe an AWP hangs in the balance. That's beside the CT spawn. He can try and grab this if he can flash players off of the angles. Instead, prioritizes short, and he is out of ammo. They know it. They'll try and congregate onto this position. Stefan, you're playing conjunction. There's a 4th.
It's a messy one, and alternate attacks do lose a lot, but they recover the snipers most crucially. Major with that Tech 9 is not the gun that you want. Even on a force buy, you want a deagle for something like that. You want to be able to hit the headshots from long range, especially contending against an AWP. It's actually criminal that Crimbo falls there. So now 2 rounds up, the Germans looking to persevere, especially in the eyes of that force buy. They've done it against the rifles, and Crimbo finds the opening pick yet again. Sangal thrown into chaos immediately. Look at them. They're slowing things right down.
Second time he's done that. That's why they call it suicide, Pronogo. The middle of the map, once again controlled. We talked about alternate attacks' tendency to rely on these double AWP setups and winning 6 in a row and potentially 7 on the board. That's definitely the way to get the job done here. Smoke's placed. Crimbo wants more. He's already found 2 in round number 11. And you just look at that scoreboard on the side. It's the AWPs doing everything. All 3 for them on the initial.
It's exactly what you want to see coming out of this double op setup. It's so powerful on CT side. Certainly can be, but Engine has some other ideas. Crimbo will finally fall. Quick AK shot. 2 on 4. Still super unlikely for the Turks, but maybe they pivot towards B here with the bomb lurking in tunnels.
It's the only way they can get onto this one. Double defense on mid, likewise towards that A bomb site. And Stefan just watching for the cross might actually give an opportunity for a bomb plant. And knowing the smokes are at the ready, Engine's got one on his back as well. They'll throw out that initial utility, but spotting no members of the defense here. Alternate attacks, they want to play this as a retake, knowing they've got a 2-man advantage. So mid-controlled, C4, yes, it can go down, but the Germans are hot and heavy. On the retake, before the bomb even goes away, Engine fully flashed, and Logic cannot tap the digits in.
Yeah, no bomb plant, and that's the crucial part, too, because the economy is not in a good spot for the Turks to buy into this one. It was so messy, they were walking into crosshairs left, right, and center. This double op setup from the Germans has completely eviscerated the Turkish lineup so far, and their T-side on Dust 2 is just not enough yet. They need to post more rounds. Already the Germans threatening a half-1. And with this secondary op maintaining its focus as well, still on Crimbo and Panics, it doesn't look likely to slow down anytime soon.
That's not what we expected coming into this one. We thought alternate attacks, it was all about that T-side. They're switching the story.
Imagine if they win their CT side and their T side. I mean, they can do it. They have the skills.
Certainly do. Pick controlled. It's that AUG once again. We've talked about it so much. I'm up 1 in the meantime. That's the A-bomb site cracked. And they need to wrap the AWP over. He takes the second face knowing that there's nobody there to actually receive that aggression. Quick damage. The AWP out in the open. And I do question that from Panics. Quick kills. There's the cleanup. Should be squeaky. Scrunk a little bit
the
awkward.
coach getting quite a few frags there. Love to see that. Some confidence in his veins. Now we get into round 13. This is starting to run away from Sangal. Germans stretching far and wide ahead, doubling the scoreline. And most impactful is that even on these eco buys, which sometimes you do have to win in Counter-Strike, remember, Turks haven't been able to find hardly anything. It's kind of a repeat of what we saw at the beginning, where Sangal didn't drop a single player hardly in any of the opening rounds, except obviously the script has flipped. And when that script goes out the window, Sangal don't always know what to do to come back in it. It's true for in the middle of the rounds. It seems to be true for the whole half so far.
It's short from Stefan. If we're watching the minimap the majority of the time, alternate attacks are playing a very mobile defense. Crystal is everywhere, seemingly. He's playing unpredictable. This time towards the middle of the map where he does get traded, despite finding heavy nade damage on the approach. This has been locked away once more. Sangal try and speed it up. That doesn't work. So instead, priority towards that B bomb site without the C4. That is back in passive beside the T spawn.
Look at Stefan's positioning as well. I think he may have heard some footsteps. He makes some of his own now.
So awkward. He had the information and engine falls.
Pistons not firing this time around. Major last alive, 1-on-3. Can't even get the bomb with any degree of security. Has to find an initial frag and then throw this defensive line into disarray.
Watch with this AWP. Primbo firmly has the angle. Major now firmly has the bomb. It's towards the B site. Seems to be the favored one for Sangal Esports. Maybe he wants to snatch away a kill before he can get the C4 down and away. And with Stefan so much control, not just the retake will be quicker, but they might just be able to lock him down instantly.
You saw his instincts there as a veteran player. Major expected maybe the Germans haven't even seen that we've dropped the bomb. So he goes to get it. That's the first job done, but getting it onto the site, that was definitely going to be harder, especially in a 1-on-3 against these ops that can clothesline you pretty much anywhere you walk out. That ends up being his fate as well. So we go into it yet another pause. And what can you expect coming out from Sangal? They've just been completely shut down in the later stages of this half. We're going into this penultimate round, and that obviously means alternate attacks. Their system has been working. And look at the money again. I mean, it's going to be a compromised buy from the T side.
Well, my analysis was totally wrong. I said if alternate attacks don't find more than 10 rounds on their T side, then they'd almost have no chance of winning this map. They've got 9 on CT, so clearly a redundancy there.
They'll do you one better, Squid. They're here to take 10 before the T side even starts. Talk about saving strats as well. They don't have to show hardly anything on their T side if things keep looking this way. It's going to be a fast A long hit developing. Paz already out to blue bin. First trade as well, and it's not answered back.
Exceptional speed. They play it again. Instead to force the first out. That's an AK-47 hanging in the balance. Paz does retrieve it. Back to the T-spawn.
Yep, now Crimbo tested as well with this AWP on the B site. First time we've seen that in quite a while. Crystal gets caught out pushing for info, and this is where the German system seems to be falling apart. They get down a man. Sangal can push that advantage. First time that they've had that one since the opening rounds. Now, tunnel hit. 4 members already congregating with a 5th in tow.
Flash is over. They only have to contend with this AWP. Scrunk is on the way, but Crimbo needs the support now. Quick shot from the sniper. Gets another chance, but the AK wrap around and the smokes are placed, meaning, well, he does damage. Logic Man survives on 1 HP. Very, very lucky to do so. And this AWP really has to go for it. They can buy into the next. Money isn't an issue, so it's no risk and perhaps high reward. Looking for 10 as the first falls. Just 1 HP prized away, but it's so important to take that man down. No HEs on the approach, so the smokes and the molly will hit instead. That's for tunnels. Knows that he needs to get the deagle out, and it's headshot after headshot. Stefan, with the body to finish it.
Yeah, he might as well have done that himself. A 1-on-3 practically in that scenario. So yeah, Logic Man will drop early. And that makes Sangal down 6 rounds. What a statement as well to retake as CTs, knowing your economy is in perfect condition no matter what the outcome is, and you still find success as well. With only the 2 nades you had left on that retake, so notoriously difficult to do that on the B site, but the Germans get away with it. Now they're going to look to extend their lead even further in the last round of this half. And Logic Man, deprived of that AWP yet again, he hasn't even had a shot to show what he's made of here.
Certainly hasn't. That's one of the win conditions we talked about earlier. We need him to show up, especially on the CT side, particularly of Dust 2. That's to come. This time long.
Yeah, 3 members out here already falling back, even though they've got the man advantage. Damage traded. Emor will take that scout with only 2 HP to his name.
They've got mid congregating, playing in conjunction with one another. Panic's just watching the top of mid and holding for this cross. Emor was not expecting that whatsoever. So levels up the numbers, and Paz says no. He's got tunnels firmly controlled. The information given away. We've seen alternate attacks win disadvantageous situations from this site already. Nade misses its marker, but the molly certainly doesn't. Panics can find one more, and he's still not down, stuck in window. Legs found. There's another HG, and right through the smoke, Engine totally blind is able to find another. That's pretty disgusting. Crimbo now, a 1 versus 2. We talked about it before. Coming through the window. He needs to spot up the first. An Engine, those footsteps have been spotted. He tried to jump away from the molly in the meantime, so replaces the smoke. He's been finding headshot after headshot through them. Maybe not in the last 10, but initial couple of rounds. That was the talking point. That was the storyline. Crimbo's playing this one slow, and as that smoke fades, Engine will not be caught off guard by it.
So many angles you've got to guess. Crimbo does his best, but it's not enough. Will be 5 on the board for Sangal as they switch over to CT. And remember that their CT side is probably their strongest, just as the T side for the Germans. Probably what they have the advantage in. So coming into this one, we expect alternate attacks to run away with this just the way that they did on CT side. It was a real statement first half, and I definitely think it's shaken the confidence of the Turks. No matter what the outcome of that last round was, you have to feel a little shook looking at that scoreboard.
I definitely agree. It really feels like alternate attacks. That T side is their best. We absolutely know that. I can't remember the last time I saw them post anything nearing 10 on CT.
Must have been against lesser competition, right? And that's what the Germans themselves are thinking. Sangal, you picked us two into us. That disrespect will not go unpunished. And of course, it will be nades for Crystal, nades for Scrunk. We saw this before. 2 P250 purchases. Crimbo has been donated some of that as well. He's on the hero buy. A developing B hit. Emor to receive.
Wow. Gets instantly eviscerated. Alternate attacks must have been licking their lips when they saw this veto. It was basically the best case scenario for them. Get towards your comfort. We talked about it earlier. Alternate attacks would have been picking dust too. Sangal steal that right away from them. We go to nuke next as a result. One that we pretty much assume would be banned by Sangal at some point. They don't get an opportunity to do so. That would have been the second ban, of course. Smokes over the top. It's mid-control. Alternate attacks. We see this so much. The flashbang to support it. They are incredibly unpredictable. Sometimes they can fall away into short in these pistols. Instead, they target this CT spawn where a crossfire is established and Emor taking the face. It's the A-bomb site to be under contest. Paz doesn't get flashed by that one, so can take the initial peek. That's right over the top of those boxes. A headshot nailed and going for even more. He's now got the support and Logic Man finds another. This short push, it's being extinguished and expelled. They know where Panics is and he's easily dismantled.
Yeah, this is the start we needed to see. If we wanted a competitive first map, that Sangal need to get back on the board early in this second half. And that's exactly what they do in the pistol. Only losing a single player. This will set them up nicely for a bonus with no bomb plant for the Germans. So their economy is going to be looking a little bit similar to the opening. Remember that Sangal also took the pistol in the first 3 in that opening half. So we're seeing a bit of a mirror here. Just like the previous half as well. Remember, alternate attacks favoring this B site. That's what they like to go with these half buys, especially when they don't have the utility to exec properly onto the A.
Yeah, and this is somewhat of a bonus as well. We see alternate attacks basically force buy into all of these second rounds. See if they can get anything done with it. They usually dig towards their strat book. Quick nade. Should do the damage. That bounces the correct way. Crimbo just able to dodge.
Yeah, and check this developing line out as well. Alternate attacks with 3 people towards mid. They've got tons of control here. Nobody's really holding Cat. You see the jump spot coming out from Logic Man, but while he can slow things down, there's still a minute on the clock. Germans have plenty of time to work with.
Yeah, Sangal are playing this basically as passively as can be. Holding the bomb sites, no mid-control. Paz just waits. And go the smokes. At least one towards B. Still, if you've watched the alternate attacks demos, you know at this point they could go anywhere. Stefan, another pair of smokes towards the A-bomb site, and this is where they usually bounce towards mid. Crimbo's going to be the first man to push into this. It's coordinated. Paz instantly eliminated, eviscerated, and with the CT smokes down, they can hit the shots with the Desert Eagles instead. They're out in the open, and Logic Man, through it, fades. Quick drops the bomb, and Crystal, not much that he can do about this one. Needs to clamber over the top, grab the AUG. Best weapon to find in this scenario, and has them, well, both under wraps towards mid. Finds a headshot anyway. You'd love the rifle at this point, but Major bails away, and that's a round for Sangal.
That is a crazy decision by Crystal. I think he expected to die there, so he wanted to dispense with that AUG. Logic Man, of course, bailing Sangal out with the 3K off the back of the MP9. That's just because they alternate attacks themselves. The Germans didn't have the smoke grenades to deploy to block that CT spawn line off. Definitely rough coming out from them. You expect if they got the bomb plant down, they most certainly would have taken that round. Looks to be Sangal now, trying to maintain this course. 3 members towards A. None challenged yet. So Paz will linger off towards CT once again.
I was hoping, Pronogo, that we would see Dust 2 as the potential third map to heat up the series with such a territory that both teams seemingly very comfortable on. Remember, Sangal, 80% win rate, alternate attack 60, and that's discounting their play in Meisterschaft.
Yeah, Crystal's almost certainly one of the most veteran callers for Dust 2 specifically. Calling in his native tongue as well with this German roster. Almost certainly going to be an advantage going into the later stages of this half. So alternate attacks maintain a lead. They'll even get a tag on a Major. Spots out some information. No bomb sighted just yet. That's down towards mid. Less than a minute on the clock now, so Germans have to pull the trigger on some play. Looks like it will be towards his cap position. As the bomb rotates out towards long.
I wonder if they're talking about that initial buy round to come. They're playing this one very slowly. And a congregation on short shouldn't really be dismantled here. Paz should be able to dive through this smoke and find it, despite teammates being flashed. He jumps down. Both kills. Very easy. Now to prioritize long to stop this bomb. 20 seconds. Crystal, yes, he covers. But I don't imagine the C4 going down here, even if Crystal posts a masterclass. The smokes are away. It's only Crystal to play. They might as well keep him alive in this situation. They don't, they face.
If Crystal had saved that AUG just 2 rounds ago, they might have actually gone for a bit of a heavier investment into that one. And again, just one decision changing the face of this whole opening set. It's very bizarre decision-making coming out from the in-game leader, remember? But that one, they do well to cross over. It's just that with the limited utility, they only had 1 smoke. Couldn't cover the whole cross. Now, proper investment perhaps. Galil on Crystal, everybody else on AKs. Plenty of utility. Sangal, they should be treating this one like a bonus, but ideally if they can find it, get closer to tying us up here. Starting to look a little bit more competitive from the Turkish squad. They've come to life on the CT side so far.
Again, alternate attacks slow the pace. Taking this mid control, looks towards the B split, holding the flank from long. Crystal's the first man to at least throw those flashbangs through. Another incendiary is going to slow them even further. Down below the minute mark, certainly.
Yeah, alternate attacks just want to avoid mid at all costs with Paz on 20 frags. He's having a barn burner right now. Spots out 2 already. Doesn't know necessarily that there's a third, but might have his suspicions as the bomb lingers on towards tunnels once again. Will they challenge mid, knowing Paz has just been on fire so far? Looks like they'll threaten it.
Nades. That one's not going to do the damage. Alternate attacks lets the clock creep below 40. This is a bonus, remember. Playing with the MP9 up close, Engine finds the first. That's Crystal eviscerated right off the bat. They need to trade both of these kills. They do. B site taken. C4 can now go away. And even if Paz has this flash, it shouldn't have worked out. He still trades 1 for 1. It's so hard to not get traded in that situation. Drops the bomb in the open where it can be retrieved, and they might go for a follow-up play as well. Major doesn't have the flashbang this time, so they'll peek in naked, getting punished from the car. Haybell's position countered, and Crimbo has it. Alternate attacks their first.
It's capitalizing on that mistake. Logic Man gets way too eager, pushes through window trying to catch the bomb planter, but it was safe. And of course, Major's not in position to support him at that point. He was too far away. Sangal pay for it. That could have been a retake onto B. Completely seal the fate of the Germans. Instead, 3-round lead once again for alternate attacks, who are now going up against a bit of an eco buy. Same purchase once more. Galil 4 AKs. Turkish side, of course, just 4 Deagles.
Something we didn't see in the first half, with alternate attacks' economy blossoming. They'll play towards mid. It's the smokes over the top. They check these corners, and as Zeus, funky as it can be, it's nail 1 before the approach comes back to B. It's Crystal to check these corners. Up there, it's going to be the first. And, well, this bomb site is completely fallen, Pronogo. There's no way back in. We were just looking for exits in this scenario, and even through these smokes, flashbang heard, Panic's response.
Yeah, great instincts out of Panics there to dodge away from that flashbang, and yeah, Sangal get nothing, so almost a textbook round coming out from the Germans. Crystal calling that one well in the anti-ecos. No upgrades to an AWP just yet, unless maybe it's on the ground over there in T-spawn. Whereas Sangal, of course, they haven't been able to afford one either. Panics will, in fact, break out that sniper. Tags onto Emor nice and early, and confirms information, 2 crossed. Might be a faster B hit now. Bomb down towards tunnels.
And with only the one defender towards the B bomb site. Shaky by Sangal. And the smokes once again, alternate attacks, prioritizing the curly letter here. Double defense. Remember, Emor was knocked low by the sniper right off the bat. They'll play in the open, knowing that they can hold with Emor behind these doors, trying to prevent those smokes from going away. A fast flash in Crystal's face, and nobody realistically pushing with him. That was isolated. The B-bomb site held up momentarily, and even the pistol, a jumping shot from Logic Man, who's the player low cash, remember? So finds one, and here comes the response. Another smoke grenade. Alternate attacks, they're down 1.
The Germans also choose to slow this down and let Sangal get into position to counter. Emor is going to make sure that they are frozen in place with that incendiary. And the bomb falls back away from Catwalk. Going to be pivoting towards tunnels, where we do have Crimbo dug in right now. Looking for any pushing CTs. Will be Paz and Engine to hold this site. Engine, in fact, cheating towards mid here. So alternate attacks have made the correct gamble, moving towards B. They also dodge out some of the damage from that nade.
Paz takes the initial approach. He's right on top of those boxes just to get the information. Now forced out by the flames. In the open, it is traded. And Sangal are doing just about enough to cling on to this B-bomb site. They can do so from afar to take down the AWP. And alternate attacks have let the clock go so low that there's not really much of an opportunity to get the C4 away. They compete this individual. And it's Major to do so.
Yeah, Skrunk needed to find all 3 frags or just get the bomb down immediately to even have a chance in that 1-on-3 clutch. Sangal answered back, and now they're able to recover that AWP for Logic Man, who can then invest into some utility after the fact. Even drop an MP9 over to his teammate. So you can see that the money isn't 100% solvent for the CTs. However, German side, on the other hand, have plenty. Crimbo, the only compromise with 2,000. Might see maybe a pistol or a MAC-10. We've seen T-side teams do that plenty of times in the past where they'll sort of make space with a lesser weapon. The Germans have been playing a slow style so far, Squid. I haven't really seen an explosive change of pace. That might be what they're talking over during their tac pause here, figuring out how to crack the Sangal defense, as some momentum is starting to go back the way of the Turks.
I wonder, we've not seen them dig out their standard strat book. It's just been towards the B bomb site most of the time. We've seen no long control and no B splits as of the first 3. And now with a sniper in Panic's hands, what can they do with it?
That's definitely the key difference maker here. Panics and Logic Man both equipped with the snipers. Probably the first time this entire map that we've seen all of these players have their preferred guns.
Engine's the only player without an MP9. Short for 2, and this looks to be more mid-centric. All 5 players holding towards this side. I guess this looks like an A-split.
And Paz with an AK-47 as well, with his top frag potential here. He's going to be holding on to A. It's a bit of a different look for him as he's smoked off towards CT. Can't hold from his preferred position just yet. Ooh. Logic Man, on the other hand, he's discovered.
Should have certainly hit that one. 3 targets, 0 found. A bomb site. That's in question. And alternate attack still slowing the pace. That allows the rotates through. All 5 players of Sangal know exactly what's going on. That doesn't work if they cannot hit the shots. Stefan from short, able to get traded. And Engine's only got an MP9 to fall back on.
What does he do in this scenario, Squid? He's got to try to save it, maybe get a better gun upgraded, but their economy is not in a good spot on the Sangal side. He might have to play this one incredibly passively and hope that alternate attacks gift him a proper gun, because all of the good weapons are down on the site at this point. With Major falling on Car so early in that scenario, there was absolutely no pressure valve to release when alternate attacks deployed their pronged hit. Especially when that AWP domino immediately falls.
Yeah. As soon as the first domino falls in that scenario, everybody else are stretched thin to check all of these angles. It doesn't work. You've got an AK watching short, long, and the bomb site. That doesn't work.
Absolutely not. And now Sangal, realistically, they're going to be down some more rounds looking at their buys coming into the next, because having won just a single round before and not being able to chain these together is so brutal on the CT side, especially where you do need a little bit of extra cash to properly invest. Your incendiaries cost more, you got to buy kits, your rifles cost more. It's just a bit of a mess for this Turkish squad coming into this one 4 rounds down, and realistically, alternate attacks should be able to take at least 1 more off the back of this before any proper buys come in. Maybe even more than 1. Look at Sangal. They've already fully invested into this before calling their tack, in fact.
This map has been excruciatingly slow. This is what we see so much in Meisterschaft. These German teams, especially when they're forced onto the T side, they really slow down this pace. 13-9 as a result.
No, they just grind you out, right? And that's what the Turks are finding right now with alternate attacks able to deploy that German playbook. Really slow this map down. Comes in the form of the attacks as well. Maybe some of the slower pistols. We actually saw both teams using those pistol rounds, those half-by rounds as extended timeouts almost. With Panics posted up with that AWP down suicide. Nobody peeking into him.
This is a gamble.
It's going to be long.
Straight towards long. You're right. Nade as well forces Paz off of the corner, falling back to the A bomb site, where alternate attacks, they've won a bit of map control.
Dreadful utility coming out from Sangal as well. They've basically got nothing right now. 2 smokes, 2 flashes, an incendiary. Especially if Engine on that MP9 ends up falling early without expending all of his utility. It's almost certainly an open and shut case for alternate attacks as they deploy their A hit. But they're falling back. Again, keeping things super slow, trying to bait out whatever limited utility that CTs realistically have, and it's not much.
Yeah, this is smart. Only the 1 smoke and incendiary remaining, couple of flashes. There goes down another smoke as well. And with short controlled by Paz, he's fallen silent over the last couple of rounds. We noted it. Round number 3 of this half. 20 kills almost coming into this one. Only 21 as of now. He's only found 1 kill in the last 5. That's not good enough. Flashes over the top. They will creep and crawl their way in, staying unpredictable. Double smoke for CT. That aids the cross. For Crimbo to take the first face against the pistols. Sangal, they're not here this time. Not a full stack with Engine throwing down more incens on B. And they've already taken the pointy letter. Crystal can close. This A site has fallen. The C4 can very easily go down with Major just hidden away in the elevator. CT controlled, yes. But bomb site controlled, no. They've lost everything, and their players are falling as well. Major walks into the open. The sniper only finds the 1 headshot, and that's the ultimate consolation prize.
Absolutely. He can't do anything off of the back of that one. It's a 2-on-3 still. Alternate attacks will steal away 14. 2 rounds away from securing their opponent's map pick, remember. Dust 2 not going the way of the Turks so far, and they need to mount a massive comeback with very limited money if they want to make this more competitive. This has just been a polarizing map so far. We've seen the opening half start off really well for the Turks and then go the way of 10 rounds for the Germans. Unthinkable. And then it looks like Sangal are able to come back on CT side before the T side of alternate attacks just rips everything away. It's almost like there have been 4 halves to this map so far, Squid.
Absolutely. 14-9. The rifles come out once again, and Sangal don't have anything to work with in this one. $2,500 on the richest of the players. And I guess they're forced into an investment. No, they'll just go for the long run it back. 6 rounds will be needed in a row if they can't take this one, and Panics wants to ensure it with that sniper towards the middle of the map. Quick headshots, 2 in fact. Logic Man back with a sniper rifle of his own, but it's of the less powerful variety. That Scout, what can he do? I don't think much. And even this MP9, without the body armor, your crosshair goes sky high. There's no really way to hold this back. Ugh, awkward.
Yeah, Sangal are playing the Soviet style, picking up the rifles of their dead comrades, and even those are not in good working order. MP9 and a Scout. Not the tools you want for the job in a 3-on-5 with so much utility left for the Germans as well. They will grind you out. You've got to make a play. Paz not good enough for it. Flashed over. That was the only bit of utility that the Sangal team had.
Well, B-site's already taken. There's no way that the Scout can hold this one away. Flashes as well to force him off the angle. Remember, he will have money into the next, so he doesn't realistically need to save, but Skrunk's changed up his. Very powerful stuff, especially on the anti-ecos for the Germans, might add. They've not lost a player thus far.
Yeah, they look interminable at this point. Sangal simply cannot fire back. Major with a measly P250 will almost certainly fall in this hunt. Looks like it will come to fruition, and that will be 15. Nice and easy for alternate attacks. Their opponent's not even posting double digits yet. They've got one buy round to do so. Everything from now on is make or break. If you lose your map pick to alternate attacks and you go on to map 2 of Nuke, where you are not favored, mind you, to take that one, you almost certainly guarantee a 2-0. That's what we're going to be looking for, and the Turks have their backs against the wall. A FAMAS onto Logic Man, very limited utility. They've got very few tools to actually make this comeback happen. It's so unlikely as well on top of it all, as their opponents 6 map points.
It's very painful when you don't see any action in the first minute of any round. Really makes you second guess your stratagem, and here Sangal just don't seem to have one, especially that CT side. It's supposed to be their favored. T side wasn't much better either. 5 rounds, 4 came right off the banks. Mid-control, this is how the Germans want to close. With Paz holding it away, there is a smoke inside to play. He tries to isolate Stefan here. With that Molotov, they're not going to face the corner. You would usually want to be looking into the CT in that scenario. Instead, spreading the attack.
Sangal are so paranoid, even in these man-up situations. They're playing super passive, which is what you want, but they're dispensing with their utility, limited, might I add, so quickly. Alternate attacks can revert back to their slow pace and actually get the win off of it if they play their cards right. It will be towards A here with this cat hit, and Skrunk is lurking out. Might catch Logic Man by surprise.
Oh man, he finds it instead. A could fall as well. Yes, Crimbo's got mid fully controlled, and with this C4 over, what does Stefan do about this one? They haven't spotted out Crimbo. He was playing the middle of the map. 2 HP still survives. That's most important. They'll rotate and wrap back to the curly letter. And with him holding down everything, that B-site Pronogo, it's exposed. The Germans might have just done it. The AWP can cross over. Panics does get tagged in translation, but that shouldn't matter. 8 seconds on the board. They can brush it off. He can even hold window if he wants to. Not that I think he needs to take the risk, but instead rely on Crimbo towards the middle of the map as well. The jump spotted. Maybe he can even hear the sound cues. He's looking right over that door. Gets awkward, holding the angle high. And I don't think there's anything that Paz can do about this one. He gets blasted. A 3 versus 5 to close for Attax.
What a map from alternate attacks to take their opponent's map pick in that fashion. It looked a little bit closer than it actually was, Squid. There was so many rounds in a row for the German squad. Sangal not able to answer back and chain much together besides the opening 4 of this entire map. And as I said earlier, when they got started off on a really good initial push, it felt like maybe the Turks had it in them. But remember that they picked this, and it's the best map for the Germans. We do not expect any team to pick that into alternate attacks to force a home map for them. Well, now you know why you should never be doing that to the Germans. Crystal makes you pay with his calls, and Crimbo makes you pay with his op.